Oh snap, it's week 4 up in here. Alright, so this is currently Thanksgiving week, which is, alright, so this is like week 5 for me. So I'm like, as I said, I'm always a week ahead of you guys. So with week 4 being here, Thanksgiving, this is the first holiday, or the one holiday I think everybody was kind of dreading, or everybody was kind of like, well, the best of luck to you on that particular day. How you plan to pull that off? I don't know. I pulled it off just fine. There's kind of like a dark history when it comes to me and Thanksgiving. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the holiday. Like, who doesn't? Especially when I get a chance to kind of like sit around family and stuff like that. That's not something I get to do. Shoot, I haven't done in years. Normally what I do is I'll scavenge around looking for plates. Originally, years ago, I used to always go to Thanksgiving in New York with my grandmother. That became my adult tradition. That became what I had. For those that don't know, I was born in New York and I was raised in North Carolina. But, but my family being, with my mother and my father being from New York, we went quite often. So I have plenty of memories from New York, or what it is to be there for an extended period of time. That became my tradition to finally go back home, I guess you could say. Thanksgiving was everything, like to go sit with my grandmother and to be with my family and my cousins, and we used to do things we didn't have to do, and then come back in the house, eyes red, and my grandmother upset, like, I knew what y'all was doing out there. I knew what y'all was doing, like so. Fun times, man. Like everyone else in the world, I have 2 grandmothers. Now the grandmother I'm always talking about, or the grandmother I've always spoken about, the one that stayed closest to me, she lived here in North Carolina. My other grandmother, she still stayed in New York. My grandmother down here, the one I was close to, she was like, you don't spend Thanksgiving here. She was like, how about you stay here, whatever. And she just kept hounding me, like, just do it. So I was like, all right, grandma. So I called my grandma in New York. I was like, I'm not gonna come to this year, and I'm not gonna worry about it. Well, that particular year, she died. Well, clearly I remember that Thanksgiving like yesterday. I wanted to eat, and nobody around here wanted to cook. Nobody. Everybody was still down because I want to say she died like, it was like a week before. She died on the 11th, and so the funeral was like a couple days later. So probably it was probably about a week after her funeral. I wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving, and everyone had just used that trip to come down for the funeral, and so I found myself sitting in the house alone, and it really like dawned on me what Thanksgiving kind of was. How it changed my view on it, and it wasn't as special, I guess you could say. Even after then. The following year, I went back to New York, and nothing was the same. We were grown, but like, we weren't grown. Like, if that makes sense, like we had gotten older. It wasn't so much of a family. Like, we used to sit down at the table, and my grandmother would say, "Food's ready," and we would sit down at the table. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. And so having that happen the prior year, and then go back to what I knew, and what I knew was completely different, it really just shattered it for me. And then the following year after that, my grandmother left New York and she moved to South Carolina. And that was, I understand why she did it, how she was older, and the city life was, to keep her from walking so much and stuff like that. But for me, I'm just not a fan of South Carolina. Not at all. Like, I am not a fan of South Carolina. So since then, Thanksgiving is just like whatever. Now, last year, a girl that I was real cool with, like I consider her my sister, I went over her house, but now we're not even cool anymore. Damn. Anyway, all right, so the update with my diet. Now, this week I've been doing 1,700 calories, and that has been interesting. Like, I'm really getting hungry. So for Thanksgiving, what I did was I recorded my sugar cookie video, and I had a couple more cookies than what I normally do. My 7 days for my refeed was actually that Friday, and I just skipped ahead and just did it Thursday. But see, I didn't even really refeed. I just ate cookies that day. Oh, and a Chalk Zero thing. A Chalk Zero piece of Chalk Zero bar, and some of my keto turkey meatballs. Those were good. Those were good. I don't know if you guys seen those on the blog, and I'll put some pictures like right here or right there. I actually put it in the description box below for you guys. That recipe was really good. I ate those in excess, so I mean, if I had to guess, I might have did maybe like 2,300 calories for Thanksgiving. That's not really a typical refeed day, so when Friday gets here, I'm just going to jump back into it, and since I didn't really have a refeed day, I'm going to stay at 1,700 calories, and I want to see how that week goes. And then that way, next Saturday, I'm going to have a refeed day. I'm not going to do it on Friday night because I'm going out Saturday night and it ain't going to mess up my night. Because last time I had like a bad headache like I always do. But this entire week has consisted of me eating salmon, rice cauliflower, and I did cut back on my beets. I haven't been having beets. I want to say I had them maybe like 2 or 3 days out of the week. My workout regimen has changed. The first 4 weeks were high reps. And the point of that was the the stimulate for muscle growth. And then now I'm transitioning to a stage of where I'm actually pushing heavier weights. So I'm in the medium range I'm in the ideal range about 8 to 12, because before I was about 10 to 15. And this is supposed to like spark some like serious muscle growth. We're gonna see, and then the weights are even gonna get lower in the next 4 weeks. Now, as I said, this was gonna be a quick one. I don't really have much to say for this week. This week was kind of bland, especially with the holiday. I will see you guys next week for week 5. There should be some major updates for next week. Well, maybe.